Hi folks, it's that time of the month already. September has flown by and it's time to have a quick look forward to October and have a think about what I'm going to read for the next month. So I've got a small but perfectly formed group of books here that I'm planning to tackle this coming month, and next week sometime I should be doing a wrap up for September, so you'll see how I'm getting on with the books that I plan to read during September. And the short version is I'm doing okay. I'm almost finished the second last book. I've got one more to read and it's not that thick, and there are, as I'm recording this on the 26th, there are 4 whole days of September to use to read that one book. So I'm feeling confident. You have to forgive my voice, it's kind of going a bit. So first up for October is Timescape by Gregory Benford. And I put this up on a haul quite recently, and a number of people said that Timescape is excellent and you should give it a read. So the deal with this one, it was written in 1980, won the 1980 Nebula Award. I say it was written in 1980, it was published then. 1979, it looks like he wrote it. But anyway, it's a timey-wimey thing. So on the back it says, the year is 1998. The world is a growing nightmare of desperation, of uncontrollable pollution and increasing social unrest. In Cambridge, I assume that's Cambridge, England, 2 scientists experiment with tachyons, subatomic particles that travel faster than the speed of light, and therefore, according to the theory of relativity, may move backwards in time. Their plan is to signal a warning to the previous generation. In 1962, a young Californian scientist, Gordon Bernstein, finds his experiments are being spoiled by unknown interference. And as he begins to suspect something near the truth, it becomes a race against time. The world is collapsing and will only be saved if Gordon can decipher the messages in time. And the new scientist says on the back here, Timescape is by turns serious and entertaining, nostalgic and forward-looking. The ultimate resolution of the puzzle has been handled adroitly and will amaze general readers. So that sounds good. It sounds like, I think somewhere inside here it mentions... the literary review says, primarily a realistic novel about scientists at work and very impressive too. Compels attention. So it's certainly bigged itself up. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good, I think. And then the fantastically named Sequoia Nagamatsu with How High We Go in the Dark, which I've heard tell is very good, and it starts kind of small and local and then kind of grows until by the end of it you're sort of out at sort of intergalactic level, I think. And what does it say here on the back? Siberia 2031, after a virus unearthed from melting permafrost unleashes a deadly plague upon humanity, those left alive are forced to adapt to a new world and do so in a myriad of moving and inventive ways. Among those adjusting to this new normal are an aspiring comedian employed by a theme park designed for terminally ill children, who falls in love with a mother trying desperately to keep her son alive. A scientist who, having failed to save his own son from the plague, gets a second chance at fatherhood when one of his test subjects, a pig, develops human speech. And a widowed painter and her teenage granddaughter who must set off on a cosmic quest to locate a new home planet. A story of unshakable hope and that seamlessly crosses literary lines. How High We Go in the Dark follows a cast of intricately linked characters spanning hundreds of years as humankind endeavours to restore the delicate balance of the world. Adrian Tchaikovsky says, a powerfully moving and thought-provoking read, at times sublime, strange and deeply human. So I know as much about it as I've just read off the back, so I'm intrigued by that. And those of you that have been paying attention, last weekend I posted a video of a book haul containing about a zillion short story anthologies. So I actually better start tucking into some of these. So I've put down Andromeda, the first of 3 Andromeda books, which has got plenty short stories in. I think there are 10, and they're sort of pretty bite-sized. There's one by, it's a pretty stellar list actually. Brian Aldiss, Michael Coney, Bob Shaw, Robert Holstock, Naomi Mitchison, Christopher Priest, George Martin, Harlan Ellison, and a couple of others. It's under 200 pages. They are typically, by the look of it, between 10 and 20 pages each. So the kind of thing you can knock off pretty quickly. The next one I'm going to read, the next three are newer books. I'm going to read Tchaikovsky's Children of Memory. So this is the third of the three Children of series that he's done really recently. I really enjoyed the first two, and I'm hoping for good things from this one as well. They dreamed of home and they woke to a nightmare. On Ymir, Captain Holt founded a hopeful new colony on an empty world, but generations later his descendants are struggling to survive. As harvests worsen and equipment fails, strangers appear in a town where everyone knows their neighbour. Now the community fears it's being observed, that they're not alone, and they'd be right. Explorers from the stars have come, in secret, to help. Sounds a little bit kind of culture-y, special circumstances, doesn't it? Confident of their superior technology, they begin to study their long-lost cousins from Earth. Yet the visitors aren't the only watchers. When the Starfarers discover the scale of their mistake, it will be far too late to escape. So, I don't know what's going on there. I think it's linked to the other two. I think. More than that, I don't know. So I presume it is, because otherwise, why would it be part of the same series? But anyway, it's a pretty cool cover. It's got nice wraparound cover art. I enjoyed the other two. I found him a little bit hit and miss. Some of his books are fantastic, and some of them are a bit. I didn't enjoy. Well, I didn't enjoy the last book of the Shards of Earth trilogy, whatever it's called, as much as I enjoyed the first two. Let me put it that way. All right, the next is a book by Emma Newman, Atlas Alone, which is the third of 4 that she's written recently. And this one follows more or less directly on from the second one. So at the end of the second one, as will become clear in a minute when I read the blurb, there's a rather drastic event, and it's observed by a group of people who were on a spaceship leaving for the colony that was part of the first book. 6 months after the nuclear holocaust, Dee is on a colony ship, deeply traumatized and struggling with her rage as she searches for those responsible. Desperate for an escape, Dee throws herself into a new immersive video game after she's approached to be a playtester. When a character she kills in the game resembles a man who dies suddenly in the real world, one of the men responsible for Earth's destruction, she needs to know how and if it can happen again. But Dee is unprepared for the answers that she finds. What she learns will affect the future colony, and she realises that in order to save humanity, she may have to relinquish her own in the process. The first 2 books were very different, and both I thought written very well. I really enjoyed them, so I'm hoping for good things from Emma in this book. And sticking with the ladies, the last book I'm going to attempt in October is by Claire North, and it's the first 15 lives of Harry August. This is time travel with a difference, is what I gather. No matter what he does or the decisions that he makes, every time Harry dies, he always returns to where he began, a child with all the knowledge of a life lived a dozen times before. Nothing ever changes until now. As Harry nears the end of his 11th life, a little girl appears at his bedside. "I nearly missed you, Dr. August," she says. "I need to send a message." This is the story of what Harry does next, and what he did before, and how he tries to save a past he cannot change and a future he cannot allow. Mike Carey, who was the author of The Girl with All the Gifts, says, "An astonishing reinvention of the time travel narrative. Bold, magical and masterful." I have heard terrific things about this. So she wrote this in it's published in 2014, and she was pretty young at the time, I think, and she may have written a couple of novels before under a different pseudonym. But really, this is among her first books, and it was very well received. So I'm kind of hoping for good things from young Miss North. I've got a couple of her other books that I've picked up over the last month or two that I'm looking forward to reading as well. The only other one of hers that I've read is The End of the Day, it's called, which is a story of one of Death's staff. That's also worth a read. So that's what I'm doing. So I've got, I don't know, must be in excess of 1,000 books that I haven't yet read in my collection here, and that would be a bit overwhelming if I was to think of it as one enormous TBR pile. So I'm quite enjoying the process of identifying a handful that I'll read in the next few weeks and having that as a sort of manageable TBR pile. So that's it, I think, for this month. So that's what's going on with my to be read pile. What have you got in mind for next month on your TBR pile? Let me know, and on what you're reading now perhaps. And I'll be back soon with another video, but bye for now.